Commands. You can't get through life without telling other people what to do. And as a teacher, I'm used to giving orders all the time. Sit down, be quiet, do your work, take this test, conjugate, decline. In Latin, these are known as imperatives. The Latin verb impero means to command, and it's a mood of a verb. So a command is different from a direct statement or a hypothetical. We are going to learn about how to form the imperative mood in Latin. The regular form of the imperative is actually quite simple. For most verbs, it's the present stem. Yeah, that's right. It's just the present stem. Well, the singular form is. Okay, so we form the imperative from the second principal part, the present infinitive. With this form, we remove the re ending and eke, it's the present stem, which happens to be the present imperative, singular. So for amo amar, the singular imperative is ama. For dokeo dokeir, it's doke. For tego tegere, it's tege. And for audio audire, it's audi. And these are the forms we use if we're going to be commanding just one person or thing. If we want to command more than one person or thing, we add a te on the end of the singular. Ama plurals to amate, doke to dokete, and audi to audite. Third conjugation verbs, since the singular ending is an a short e, it morphs into an I, a short I in the plural. So tege plurals to tegete. The difference in sound from the e to I isn't much, and changes like this happen all the time in spoken language. Our English translation isn't going to be different from the singular or plural, since English has just one imperative. And because commands tend to be exclamations, you don't hear too many gentle orders, it's customary to put an exclamation mark after our English word. So ama and amate are both love, doke and dokete, both teach, tege and tegete, both hide, and audi and audite, both hear. Now let's hold on a second and talk about this word Audi. That's the same as the car brand Audi, right? Well, story has it that the founder, his name was August Horch, and forgive my German pronunciation, I'm a Latinist. The founder, Horch, couldn't use his last name for the company, and Horch, by the way, is German for hear or hark. That's an imperative. Because Horch was already taken by another business. So while he was brainstorming with his business partners a new name for his company, a son of one of the partners, who happened to be studying Latin, suggested the Latin translation of Horch instead. Latin for Horch is Audi. You probably came across imperatives, too, on your first day of learning Latin. Salve, the traditional greeting that means hello, is actually the imperative of the verb salveo, salvere, which means to be well or in good health. So when you say salve, you're really saying be well, or even better, welcome. And goodbye in Latin is vale, the imperative of valeo valere, to be strong. So you're really saying something like farewell. Vale is sometimes paired with ave, the imperative of aveo avere, which means to farewell, although in Latin the imperative is translated more as hail, as in ave atque vale, hail and farewell. The plural to all of these is the typical imperative plural. So salvete, if you're greeting multiple people, valete, if you're saying goodbye to more than one person, and avete, if you're saluting two or more. Salve and awe, by the way, can be used as both hello and goodbye, and wale is just really more of a way of bidding adieu. So that's the easy part of imperatives. It's the present stem. There are 4 irregular imperatives in the third conjugation, however. The verbs dico, duco, faceo, and ferro all drop the e in the singular. So we have dic, duc, fac, and fer. But most of these plurals follow the regular third conjugation rules. Dicita, ducita, facita, but it's ferte without the I. To make an imperative negative, we use the imperative for nolo, nolla, which is the singular noli and nolite in the plural. We would translate this verb in English as don't, although it's more literally be unwilling, and it's followed by an infinitive. So noli audire is be unwilling to listen, or really, don't listen. In the plural, it's nolite audire. Notice we only change the imperative. The imperative typically is used in the second person, so the person you're speaking to is a you, and also in the present tense. Most commands are given now. There's really no past tense command. I mean, there's no do this, but make sure it was done yesterday, even though that's what we seem to hear all the time in business. There are some third-person imperatives, so I wouldn't be commanding you, but I'd be commanding someone else, like have him do this. And there is a future imperative, so the action is expected to be done at some time in the future. These imperative forms are pretty rare, so I won't talk about them here, but keep them in mind for your higher levels of Latin study. Oh, and one more thing. The imperative in Latin is typically used with the noun in the vocative case. So even though the imperative is second person, we're going to want to identify the person being commanded. So you would say, dic mihi, Marque. Tell me, Marcus. And Marque here isn't the subject. It's not the nominative. It's not the object or the accusative. It's the vocative, identifying to whom the dic mihi is addressed. And by the way, it's customary to put the imperative first in the sentence, since the action being commanded is very important.